What's going on, Tamers? It's your boy Varney, and today I'm coming at y'all with a deck profile from my Marvin's Machines deck that I've been brewing that was so dubbed during one of the streams. Can't remember by who, but I've just ran with the title. Now, full disclosure, this deck isn't entirely tested in the way that I'd like for it to be for doing a deck profile, but I just really like this deck, and I just want to put it out there for y'all, especially because the starter decks just came out and we've got some of the cards in there. So just want to get it done, get it out there, see what you guys think of it. And if you guys have any suggestions, would love to hear it. Before we jump into the video, just a reminder that we do have a YouTube membership. So if you are a YouTube member, you will be seeing this video early as thanks for supporting us. If you would like to become a member, it is $4.99 a month. You get access to exclusive videos as well as early videos. You get a DGU 15% discount off of merch at dgu.gg. You get to see all of the things that we are working on behind the scenes, as well as some, things that the public may never get to see, and some other cool little perks. So if you would like to join, check out the link in the description. Anyways, let's get into the video. Starting off, this is, honestly, y'all can make fun of me for it. This is MegaGargomon at home. We're running 4 of the Digimon egg. Digimon is such a good egg for this deck because it is Marvin's Machines. When one of your effects places a Digi-Evolution card under this Digimon, draw 1. That means on Marvin Mind Link, you're drawing 1, which means if you have a Marvin in play, you are getting a constant draw every turn. You can essentially say +1 every turn. Like you're always going to draw 2 cards. It's essentially how that is. So we run that. We also do run a 5th egg because I do like the consistency of running a 5th egg, which is the new Kyokyoumon from BT15. When a Digimon becomes unsuspended during your opponent's turn, you draw 1. With Reboot, it's the same kind of draw 1. I just prefer to have the ability to draw on my own turn rather than draw on my opponent's turn. But again, Digimon is such a good egg for this deck. We do run that at 4 instead. Now, like I said, this is MegaGargomon at home. So we're going to start off with our rookies, which we run 8 of. We run 4 of the new BT15 Hagurumon. Hagurumon basically searches top 3 for a machine or cyborg and a black Tamer, bottom deck the rest. Super clutch for searching out the Marvins as well as some of the other Tamers that we do run in the deck. And then Reboot as an inheritable. There is no way you don't run this card at 4. It is your searcher for the deck. The fact that this deck has a searcher is just insanely good. So we run 4 of it. Now to combo onto our searchers, we do run another searcher. We do run 2 of the LM Espimon. So Espimon searches the top 3, adds 1 card with blocker, the blocker keyword, not blocker in its text, so it cannot search out cover Espimon, but adds 1 card with blocker and 1 Tamer card, not color restricted, to your hand, bottom deck the rest. And then opponent's turn, when the attack target is switched, you draw 1. So it's just a nice, it's the same kind of thing as Kyokyoumon. I just use this as an extra way to search out my Tamers or some of my blocker pieces in the deck. But really, this is just in here for when the attack target is switched, draw 1 for that. If I happen to be digging for the Tamer who shall not be named right now. We also run 2 of the other Espimon from RB1. I like this Espimon a lot because it's basically like MegaGargomon from BT6, just on a rookie. And it also just buffs up everything else. While there's a Tamer, it gets to the 2k DP. With Marvin, like if you go Airdramon, play Mind Link the Marvin, you have like a 7k blocker. It puts you out of Crimson Blaze range. It's really nice. And honestly, if I do drop something, I would drop the other Espimons to run this at 4 because I really like this inheritable. It's also going to combo very nicely with other cards you'll see in the deck. Moving on to our champion lineup, of course, we're talking about Airdramon. We run 3 Airdramon. Now, the reason I run 3 is because I'll spoil it now. I run 4 Marvin. I like the consistency of seeing the Airdramon Marvin combo. It's the easiest way to get Marvin out without paying for him. Also, D-Digivolve 1 on a champion is nice if you can Mind Link the Marvin. And if you D-Digivolve an Ace, it's free, It also has Reboot as an inheritable. So I like 3. I could see myself going down to 2 on this. Especially when I get my Raremons in, because unfortunately I don't have Raremons, otherwise I would definitely be running them. But for now, we run 3 of this. We do run 2 more Reboot inheritables, which is the Gargomon from BT15. Now Gargomon is on play when Digivolving. You trash a machine or cyborg, and then you get protection from deletion effect, which is super clutch. Depending on the deck that you're playing against. I like this at 2. I could definitely see this at 3, but again, once Raremon comes in, I can't bump this up. reboot as an inheritable, and it has blocker on the main body, so what that LM SPmon can search it. And then of course we do run 3 hover SPmon. Now I really like hover SPmon. I talked about this in like my mail day video. I hated it because like everybody like got on the hover SPmon train, but it is such a good card. It's on Digivolve, on play. Reveal top card of your opponent's security stack. If it's Digimon, you gain a memory. If it's non-Digimon, you draw 1. Then you get to choose whether to leave that card at the top or put it to the bottom. That means if you're Digivolving and you can take a swing, you can either decide to take that safe swing, or, you know, if you don't want to take the unknown swing, then just don't. Like, it's so much, having knowledge of your opponent's security is just so clutch. In all turns, while there's a Tamer, it gains a blocker, can't be deleted by your opponent's effects. It is the anti-Death X. It is the anti-Death X. Crimson Blaze can't hit it. And then the only unfortunate thing about it is that, again, LM SPmon cannot search this because it only gains blocker. It doesn't have blocker. It is what it is. Now, why are we Machine Dramon at home? Well, that's because we run a total of 10 champions. Why do we run 10 champions? You'll see. So I guess let's start off with the lesser ones. We run the 1-up MegaGargomon because, again, I really do like that opponent starting game 2k. I've had plus 2k, and it's made like my Chaos Dramon 16. I do run Chaos Dramon. It's made my Heavy Leo 17k. It's just really good. I do like it, but the bigger reason that we do run this is because off of another card you'll see, Supreme Connection drops this for 3, which I do find to be like mega value. And being able to drop and keep turn if you have a memory tamer, or if you have 3 memory because your opponent passed and then Digivolve. So I like this. I just play it at 1. I would play the MegaGargomon, but MegaGargomon is red and treated as black, so it's not the same. You don't get defense, or you don't get some of the effects correctly. So I would just rather run this one, and it does work. It does work. We run 1 of the BT9 MegaGargomon. I'd love to run more, but it costs 40 Digivolve and space is tight. It is on Digivolve and when attacking, on Digivolve for main body when attacking as the inheritable. Pop an opponent's Digimon or Tamer with a play cost 3 less. This is our Tamer destruction. This combos with the Chaos Dramon, but it's also nice to be able to do this as a tempo play. If you can get rid of a Tamer that your opponent played, it's really nice. I would love to run this at 2, but again, space is an issue. It does cost 40 Digivolve. It doesn't get cheaper, so you do have to Digivolve with your trainings. Now we run 1 of the Metal Grave from BT8. You have to, I feel like you have to run this card if you're running like any sort of Cyborg machine deck. Dan told me to put it in, and I put it in, and I haven't regretted it. I have to keep at least 1, and I'd love to run 2, but for the same reasons as MegaGargomon, it costs 40 Digivolve in space. I can't run more. It's on Digivolve, Digivolve 1, and then pop an opponent's 3k or less. And then inheritable is that your machine traded Digimon can also, well, if that stack has machine or dragon king as traits, it can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, which, spoiler alert, all of our level 6s are machines. It's Metal Greymon. Come on now. Come on. Now we get to our 2-ofs. We run 2 of the starter deck Metal Grey, which I really, really, really love. It's 3 to Digivolve. It has Sec +1 as inheritable. It is blocker on the main body. It is 8k DP. It is searchable off of SPmon. It is so nice to take a jamming swing or swing with like the hover SP, Digivolve into this. If you get reboot from like the Gargomon or the Airdramon inheritable, or if you just swing the hover SP and then you have nothing else to do, you Digivolve into this and you have a reboot inheritable underneath. Cool, you reboot now into a blocker, which is just super nice. Combos very nice. There's something else you're gonna see in the deck very soon. It's 8k, so it's not easily deletable. It's not easy to get over unless you're like a mega. And again, if you have the SPmon underneath, it's 10k. And then the Sec +1 is the biggest thing. I really do like the Sec +1, the Heavy Leomon. So I do run this at 2. I really like this card. From the starter deck, we've got 2 Rapidmon. Why do I run 2? Because on Digivolve, the Digivolve 1 is good. It's like Metal Greymon without being Metal Greymon. Just being able to disrupt your opponent with the Digivolve is just super nice. I could swap the ratios of this and the other one, but the reason I run this one at 2 is because you can play this off Supreme Connection. So you can play this for 4 and get Digivolve 1. Inheritable is the Metal Tyrannomon, so I don't run any Metal Tyranno I used to, but this replaced that for me. All turns, when it deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of their security stack. So with blocker, nice to just be able to block, boom, trash. And then our last ultimate that we're running 3 of the MegaGargomon. I wanted to run 4, but space is tight and I need to fit other things. So we run 3 of this. This is my ideal level 5. This is my linchpin because it's just my consistency piece. On Digivolve, reveal top 3, place a machine cyborg or SOC trait in its Digi-Evolution cards, place 1 in hand, and trash the last one. When attacking, if it has an SOC or Tamer, SOC trait Tamer card, sorry, in its source, I can pop one of my opponent's play cost 3 or less Digimon or Tamers. It is MegaGargomon, but on the main body, which is just super insanely nice. So ideally, I get into this, I can swing jamming and pop my opponent's Tamers. So nice. And then when attacking, it has Digivolve 1 as an inheritable, which is also insane. I gotta run 3 of this. It's my consistency piece. Now, let's get into the spice. So, of course, I already spoiled it. We're running 2 Chaos Dramon. It's a Machine Dramon at home deck. You play the Marvin. Sometimes you do want to pitch for the memory game. So you want to be able to utilize the things to pitch. That's why I love the new Chaos Dramon that's coming out, because it allows you to do the same thing that this Chaos Dramon is doing for me now, but in archetype, because it can pull SOC as well. And it isn't just restricted to level 5s, which is super important. But for now, until we get that Chaos Dramon, we run this one, because this lets me tuck from my trash, so I get to reutilize my trash, as well as anything I have in hand. I get Digivolve and I have protection. It's a problem to deal with because it has protection. You're tucking 3 if you're Digivolving over level 5. That means you can get 4. Of course, the inheritables aren't too diverse, so I do end up tucking just 1 to 2 sometimes. But hey, honestly, sometimes 1 round of protection is all I need. Next up, we have got 2 Heavy Leomon, because Heavy Leomon is a beast and he is insane. It has Fortitude, meaning that if it has Digi-Evolution cards and it is deleted, it comes back. It just replays itself. On Digivolve and on deletion, I Digivolve 1 of my opponent's Digimon, and then I bottom deck a 6k or lower. And then at the end of the attack, I bottom deck a 4k or lower from my opponent's Digimon. If I didn't bottom deck, I unsuspend. That means with freaking Metal Greymon, I can swing 2 checks, unsuspend, swing 2 checks, or I can just swing through 2 checks, bottom deck. It's an insane control piece, and it does punish for removing if it's not bounce. So I really like this card. And yeah, we play 2 of it because it does cost 5 to Digivolve. So it is super hefty, but it's just so good. It is so good that you can't not play it. Now, what makes this deck really come together for me personally is the real spice. 3 MegaGargomon Ace, because this card is absolutely insane. I've gushed about this card on the podcast, and I'm about to gush about it again. So it's an Ace, Blast Digivolve, of course. Blocker reboot on main body is insane. When Digivolving, suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, then 2 of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend or Digivolve until the end of their turn, which is insane. If you Digivolve into this, whether it's on your turn or you blast Digivolve, if you blast Digivolve, you're probably locking your opponent out of their turn because you just messed up their plans. If you just Digivolve into this, well, then you're just controlling. And then when Digivolving and end of the attack, you may unsuspend this Digimon. This card, I'm taking a jamming swing with my MegaGargomon, and I've got 4 memory. I can go into this, unsuspend, and then take 2 more jamming swings. Well, let me rephrase, sorry. It's not 2 more jamming swings. It's unsuspend because it's when Digivolving, end of attack once per turn. When that's all coupled together, that means if you Digivolve and you unsuspend, you triggered the once per turn, you can't activate the end of the attack. So I did misspeak there. But regardless, still being able to unsuspend, take another swing, then you get the Digivolve from the MegaGargomon or whatever other inheritables. This card is so good. And it combos so nicely with Supreme Connection and Attack of the Heavy, which we do run, because you can play this down for 4, and then you just gain Rush. You don't need the source because source is for Blitz. So you just gain Rush. So swing, unsuspend. Swing is dumb. You swing with jamming. If you can just use Supreme Connection, play down your cheap level 5, and then you have an Ace. Which is what I find, which is why I have built this deck this way, because one of my biggest problems with Supreme Connection is that I just generally don't have enough memory or time to, well, it's memory, not time, to keep turn while playing my level 5. This way, I've got this. So if turn passes and you don't deal with it, you go to swing. Boom. What you gonna do? Moving on to our option lineup. We run one Ultimate Slicer. I'm still out in the jury on this card. I don't hate it enough to cut it, but I definitely could consider changing it. The reason I run it is because one thing I'm trying to predicate this deck on is control of my opponent's Tamers, because Tamers provide a lot of value, right? This card deletes by trashing a machine cyber SOC trait card from hand. You delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with the lowest play cost. So if I'm using MegaGargomon, both MegaGargomons to pop my opponent's Tamers, this should be able to hit the memory Tamers. Or if my opponent doesn't play any and they only play a memory Tamer, this is still going to delete their memory Tamer. So that's why I run this, because I like the Tamer destruction more than the Digimon pop. For our actual removal, we run one Iron Fisted Onslaught. I was running DG Dimension, I was running Trident Arm. DigiEvolve is nice, but sometimes you just want to get a big body off the board, not DigiEvolve, you just want to delete it. Iron Fist does the job, and it also punishes for same play cost. So we run that. I already said it, we run one Attack of the Heavy because we want this for game. Many times I've not been able to swing for game, and dropping Chaosmon for 9 off of Supreme Connection, really nice, because I can just tuck from trash, swing, or I can tuck and be able to swing over body if I have the MegaGargomon. And then of course it does combo with the MegaGargomon Ace. But we just run one because we don't need more than one in this deck. Definitely not more than one. Now we've got 3 Supreme Connection, because this is kind of the backbone of our deck. The amount of times this card has popped out of security for me is insane, to be honest. I don't hate it. My only gripe with this card is that it doesn't allow you to bottom deck your cards. If it said you could top or bottom deck, this card would be insane, and Machinedramon would play it at 4. Machinedramon doesn't necessarily play this card at 4 because you're only looking at 5, and at most you're taking one and trashing one, but then you're rearranging the next top 3, which means you know what those 3 are. And sometimes that's not helpful. Sometimes you're like, well, that's doing anything because I know what the next 3 cards are. And sometimes, you know, you just like what I like to do off of this is combo it with either the Hugurumon or defense training, so that I can dig those cards that I sort and then just get them out of the way, because that's honestly what needs to happen. It's just still so good. I do play it at 3 because playing down my ultimates 3 less, MegaGargomon for 3, my other ones for 4, or maybe that starter deck Metal Gray for 5 if I'm in a pinch. I like that. MegaGargomon. We do run, of course, I've said it, 3 defense training because we do Digivolve a lot in this deck, and Heavy Leo mod costs 5 to Digivolve, so we don't want to pay 5 to Digivolve Heavy Leo. So we run 3 defense training. I'd love to run more, but space is tight. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. 60 card decks, am I right? Now, the last thing, our Tamer lineup. So of course we've got one Tai. I like Tai. He's a memory setter. He gains me DP when I block or switch the target of attack. Wink. And I do get to draw one until the end of the turn. That is an all turns effect. So I do like Tai. I used to run 2, but I have since dropped the other Tai to run his counterpart, Matt Nishida, because trashing cards is something we do in this deck. This is of course the Yoshi, this is from the Yoshi video. It works. If it works, it works, you know, that's just what it is. Trash a card, tap that to gain an extra memory. That's good, because we run 2 Analog Man, because too many times I have found myself not wanting to put my Marvins at risk, so I don't leave them mind linked for blocker, and I'm like, damn, I should have left them mind linked. Damn, maybe I should have ran a blocker inheritable. My problem with running blocker inheritables is that I don't value the Digimon that have the blocker inheritables. So I'm like, you know what? We can just run Analog Man, because most times we're just gonna have our level 6 out anyways. And now with MegaGargo Ace, it's even more powerful, because MegaGargo Ace has blocker, so I can get that block, then I can get a second redirect if I need to, and it's not bigger, it's not gonna delete the MegaGargo. So Analog Man is just super powerful. The only reason I only run 2 is because it's my problem with Machinedramon when I do build that deck. You don't get to play it for free, you have to play it out for 4. You have to play out your memory setters too. That'll be the one downfall of this deck, having to play out its Tamers that aren't named Marvin, but they're just so powerful that, like, why wouldn't you? Start of main, this one trashes a level 5 cyborg to not only gain a memory, but also draw a card. So comboed with the mat, you start at 3, no, you start at 5, Chief. You also get to draw an extra card. So you get to replace the one that you just sent, and then you get the redirect on the level 6 machine. And then, of course, last, we run for Marvin. This is Marvin's machines, and we run for Marvin. I constantly try going down to 3, and I just get so scared of running 3 because I'm afraid I'm not going to see it. It is crucial to my game plan for jamming. I don't rely on it for the blocker, and I definitely don't rely on it as much for the memory gain. That's more just there to get that's why I run an all cyborg machine rookie champion lineup, so that I can pitch those cards for memory gain if I need to, because Analog Man can't pitch those. But the jamming is the most important part. My problem is if I do leave him line link for blocker, I can't get him back from trash. We don't have the new Chaos Dramon yet. So the reason I want him at 4 is if one gets deleted, I still got 3 more. Or alternatively, if I only have 1 out and I know I don't need any more, I can still pitch this because it's SOC traded. I can pitch it and still gain the memory. So to me personally, there's no downfall to running for Marvin outside of just needing the space, but I haven't necessarily found that I would rather anything else. I don't want the 11th champion. I would rather see the Marvin kind of thing. So that's our deck. Thank you guys for watching this deck profile. Please do let me know not only what you thought of the deck, but what improvements you think I can make. This deck is meant to be, it's not meant to be Machinedramon at home. It really started out as a black Secon list, and then it somehow morphed its way into being Marvin's machines. I love Marvin as a card so much. I want to make a deck centered around him and that strategy work, which is why I would run that 3 MegaGargomon, so I could really say it's Marvin's machines. But the whole deck is just machine cyborg, and it's just swing jamming, control, and make up for some of the pitfalls that Machinedramon has, while not necessarily playing like Machinedramon. But I do really like Machinedramon as a deck now. I will be playing Marvin. So you can maybe expect the deck profile on that in the future. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of your hair. So if you like this video, please drop a like. Don't forget to comment on it and subscribe to the channel so that you know when future videos come out. And until I talk to you guys next time, peace out.